Hi, everyone, and welcome to the Headliner Podcast. We're your hosts, Nicholas and Elissa, and we're here to help keep you in the loop on all the things that you can do to promote your podcast. So, Elissa, what are we talking about today?
Well, we've been talking about YouTube an awful lot, right? And video and podcasting. But there's actually some really exciting news that I would love to talk about today. And it's the fact that YouTube announced a bunch of new features available for podcasters in 2026.
What are these features and how can they help podcasters? And why should podcasters run, not walk, to YouTube for their show?
Yeah, so YouTube, they announced a bunch of features, not just podcasting specific, but we're, podcasting. So we're going to be talking only about the podcasting ones. So if you're interested in checking out more, I would just Google made on YouTube 2025, and they'll tell you about the other ones. But for podcasters, they basically announced a bunch of new AI tools, and it's all kind of designed to help make that whole podcasting easier. But more importantly, for YouTube, it marks like a larger investment in podcasting. So those updates are going to be creating clips with the help of YouTube's new clipping AI thing. They have an AI enhanced editing flow for podcasts coming, expanded thumbnail and title testing. So right now, I believe you can only test 2 thumbnails, and I don't think they have 3. And I think title testing was not a thing. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Not to my knowledge, no. Yeah. So that's new, and that's awesome because the one thing every YouTuber does is they'll retitle their video like 4 times in a single day in the hopes of finding one that works.
Exactly. So that's coming, and that's really exciting, not just to podcasters, but creators as a whole. And then the last thing in regards to podcasting is the ability to transform audio-first content into video content.
Interesting. And I'm really curious what that entails, because this is the first that I've heard of it. I live under a rock. My name is Patrick Starr. Pleased to meet you.
Gosh.
Yeah. No, that's really cool. And yeah, that sounds like a lot of stuff that will very specifically help podcasters and kind of shows Google's interest in that space. So yeah, I mean, is there anything that a person who maybe isn't on YouTube right now should know if they're a podcaster? Like, why YouTube, Elissa? Why YouTube? I'm going to ask one more time, but it's just the letter Y. Why?
Why? So basically, all in short, and I kind of alluded it to before, it's just YouTube is really increasing their investment in podcasting. Obviously, podcasting's taking off kind of in pop culture. It's really established itself more as a household media form. But as companies like YouTube are increasing their investment in podcasting by hosting their own tools and everything, it honestly, to me, it signals a larger shift in podcasting. So it's not only hey, video podcasting is increasing, efforts on YouTube are increasing, but it's also their ability to kind of support that content and really try and reward that content would be my kind of hunch. So if you are going to be podcasting on YouTube, I would expect to see more algorithmic changes, more search type rewards. Obviously, podcasting is massive on YouTube already. So a couple of quick stats because I'm all about my stats. YouTube, they did release a statement saying that it has over 1 billion monthly podcast listeners on the platform. So a billion, that's how many billions of people? There's probably 9 billion people
7,
on the earth now?
8, maybe?
Yeah.
9?
I don't know. I know that the number was 7 and 8 when I was in high school, and I'm well, I'm well past that age now, so it's got to be more.
That was great. We saw just a glimmer of an existential crisis in there.
It's okay. I pay taxes and everything now. It's fine.
Wow. At least one of us does. Anyway. Well, kidding. Obviously, I pay my taxes.
Yes. Yeah. I know the government shut down, but IRS, please, we pay our taxes. Yeah. We're good citizens. Anyways, 1 billion, that's a lot of monthly podcast listeners. And YouTube still, obviously with that number, they retain the #1 spot for podcast listenership and discovery. So, rolling out more features to support podcasting on YouTube is probably going to increase those numbers, I would imagine. Because why would you make a bad investment, especially if you can kind of control that own, you can kind of control your own destiny to a degree if you own the platform that people use and then you release a bunch of tools. It makes sense to me.
And, beyond podcasting, there's another thing that you and I love to throw around, which is that YouTube is the second largest search engine in the world behind Google. So like, not only is Google putting this time into fleshing out podcasting on YouTube even more, if you're a business owner or just a person doing a podcast for fun even, why wouldn't you want to put it on YouTube? It's the second largest search engine. If you want people to find it, there's a good chance they'll find it through there.
Yeah. And then kind of one thing that, we keep saying is it's coming in 2026. It's 2025. Granted, it's almost the end of 2025, but nobody really knows when these features are going to become available. Typically, when these types of features get released, it gets released in batches, so it might only be available in certain markets, or certain groups of podcasters might have the ability to kind of test it before everybody else does. So this, it could be a phased rollout that most people won't be able to really leverage until the end of 2026, maybe.
Yeah. Google typically does it in batches, like you said. Like when they rolled out the thumbnail thing, I got it months before other people did. So,
well, good for you.
Yeah, so fancy. I just had to humble brag. Sorry.
You needed to, of course. So that kind of begs the question for podcasters, how can we get started now? Obviously, YouTube is massive for podcasting already. It's probably going to get bigger. Typically, I would say in terms of marketing and digital media, early adopters tend to kind of win out a little bit more. So
sure,
I would make the argument, go ahead and get started with all of these, especially as a lot of these tools are readily available now.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Not in YouTube, other places, but
other places.
You know what I mean?
No, I don't. Though. What other places are you speaking of? Maybe you could put it in a bright headline with a blue to purple gradient somewhere in the middle.
Well, Headliner comes to mind. So Headliner's here, right? Headliner's here. We have, a lot of these tools available already for podcasters. We use it to get our own podcast on YouTube. So you can, transcribe, edit with AI. You can pull all sorts of clips, whether you're having video or audio first content, or you can mix and match however you really want to do that. Headliner can help you get those clips, get them up there on YouTube Shorts, or even just, as full episodes. That's an option. And title testing, that's something I'm really excited about personally. So we have this thing called Eddy, and it's when you go on your Headliner dashboard, it's that pink transcribe button. But kind of like one of Eddy's secret features is that it actually generates up to 5 different titles. So you just click on the title and then you'll have this little lovely drop down of all these options. So if you're like, okay, I've got one really good title that I worked on, but you want to test some, hey, you can just literally copy and paste them and just kind of see, get some impact, get some stats, and kind of, make a more informed decision from there. And then the last one, transforming audio content into video content. That's our bread and butter. That's how Headliner
that's what we're known
started.
for. That is the headliner, if you will.
Yeah, audiograms, man. Again, nobody really knows what YouTube's are going to look and feel like. It could be AI avatars. It could be just a bunch of B-roll. Nobody knows. But, if you want to go ahead and get started, make a podcast playlist on YouTube, use all of these tools, and just, get started.
Yeah, and I just want to emphasize something you said, Elissa. It really is a bit of a gold rush where, early adopters do get rewarded more. So the sooner that you start doing this with a tool like Eddy or Headliner's automations, the second you get that huge backlog that podcasters have, or maybe even if you just go through and you do your most evergreen episodes and then you batch release them over a period of time, the sooner you're putting your podcast on YouTube, the better off you're going to be. It's what's that popular saying? I'm going to butcher it. The best time to plant a tree is yesterday, and the second best time is today. Well, it's literally that, but with podcasts. And to that end, also, we don't know what a lot of these features that YouTube is rolling out is going to look like quite yet, like you said. So maybe sticking with a headliner, first, going to that one first, because people know what a headliner video looks like. These tools have been around for a while. They're developed, they've matured, and whatever YouTube puts out is going to be iterated on over time, whereas you've already gotten the iteration from us. Just some food for thought and a really cool tree analogy or saying. Expression. Let's go with that one.
Sounds good.
Cool. Anything else you think that our listeners should know today? Any kind of I don't know, pro tips for after they use Headliner because they're really cool and use Headliner for getting their shows on YouTube.
So I have random nuggets because I like nuggets.
Cool. Yeah, I'm a chicken nugget guy too. That's cool.
Right? How could you not be? So just getting started with YouTube, it sounds like it's scary. It's like, oh gosh, I've got to start this whole other thing. It's really not that bad, especially if you've got your kind of flow down for podcasting, just like even if it's audio, you've got it down. You literally just take, copy, paste a lot of these things. It's super easy. Tips to get started: make a podcast playlist. Just literally go into Google, type in how to make podcast playlist. And then I think the number one search result is going to actually be like YouTube Studios, like, here's how to do it step by step with the little hyperlinks and everything. Do that. It's going to mark your content as a podcast within your YouTube channel. So it'll kind of help to organize everything out. And then also, like we said, YouTube's got its own little algorithm thing going on. As it's increasing its investment in podcasting, it's probably going to start rewarding those podcast playlists a little bit more. Again, this is just my guess.
I mean, this makes sense. This is how algorithms work, right?
Yeah. So I would go ahead and start. Don't say that twice. I would go ahead and get started with a podcast playlist on YouTube. As you're doing that, look at your uploads. So rename your files. We've talked about this before on other like search engine type episodes. Renaming your files, it's going to load it down with a really good piece of metadata that algorithms look at first. You spend a lot of time typing your show notes, adding your tags and everything. But really, at the end of the day, video and audio cannot be crawled. File names can be. So they kind of look at that as one of the first things. So rename your files, super easy. Again, if you're using tools like Headliner, we take that title to inform all of your file names. So it's kind of automated for you in that regard. So super quick, super easy. Similar to a podcast upload, use your metadata, add your tags, add your show notes, add your transcripts.
Absolutely.
Again, just really loading down something that can't be crawled with crawlable data. So leverage it.
And to highlight, again, Eddie will give you all of these things. It will give you tags. It will give you the keywords. It will write the show notes if you want it to. And for the transcript, I mean, that's the whole thing. That's the whole shebang with Eddie. It's editing a podcast with a transcript. So you can just take that transcript. You can open it on the auto sync tab on YouTube's transcript menu. You can literally just paste the transcript in there and YouTube will sync it for you. So super quick, super easy. And if you're posting reels, or not reels, what do they call them on YouTube? Shorts. The one thing that I always like to do personally is, even if I have on-screen captions on my video, I will actually have YouTube caption it themselves. And then I'll just like shrink those captions and hide them in the side or hide them behind a title or something, because I want that to get parsed. I want that transcription to happen on YouTube's backend for the SEO. Last, I do have one other thing that I do think anyone getting into YouTube should absolutely take advantage of. And I slipped it into here and then I forgot to tell you as much. So look at what YouTube is and then look at what Spotify is. The main difference between both of them, I know Spotify technically has it, but like nobody uses it as far as I can tell.
It's kind of hidden.
It is. It's very hidden. I don't think it's even visible on a user level. I think it's just visible to the creator. Is comments. YouTube has a comment section. So once you start producing new content for your YouTube channel, you've gone through your backlog, etc., start asking questions. Hey, today we're going to be talking about this, and that. If you have a thought or a feeling about it, let us know in the comments on YouTube. Or just inviting people to like talk about something or recommend future topics for other episodes. I make stuff in my free time for fun. And the thing that I've been doing for years that works wonders is I do a question of the day tangentially related to the video. So because I'm a movie nerd, if I made a 50-minute video about DVDs, I might literally stop the video 5 minutes in to be like, oh, and by the way, super quick question of the day, what's the first DVD you ever bought? And what do you think of the movie? It's something super simple, but you're encouraging people to engage, and YouTube is all about engagement. So getting that comment, replying to the comment is going to help grow your channel and your podcast in the process. So yeah, that's my whole spiel. I wrote that in. Sorry I didn't tell you, Elissa, but I'm also not that sorry.
I was going to ask you about your own tips because you're the YouTube expert and you know way more than I would ever know.
That's true. I do love the YouTube's. Cool. Well, this has been a great chat, Elissa. I do think we actually gave some very helpful information here. Get on YouTube as soon as possible. There's a lot of cool stuff coming, but you don't have to wait for it. You can literally do most of it right now with your buddy's headliner. So yeah, thank you to everyone for listening. We'll be back soon with more tips on podcasting and growing your show. And yeah, have a good one.